From the WATE.com Digital Center, answering your legal questions. This is Ask Isaacs. Now, here's Lori Tucker and attorney Greg Isaacs.
Everyone, how you doing today? Are you ready for the holidays? Are you ready, Greg?
Close. Almost there.
Okay, we don't want to put a damper on the spirit. We don't want to be Grinch. But we are talking about Christmas crime, and it is a real deal. Obviously, we have porch pirates. We have, those brazen folks who go right up to your front porch and steal your gifts. Now that online purchasing is oh so popular. How big a problem is that here in Knoxville?
In Knoxville, it's a significant problem, and you kind of hit the nail or the dynamic on the head. If you notice Black Friday, it didn't take an hour and a half to get from your house downtown or to West Knoxville, as more people are shopping online. I mean, statistics show online shopping, Amazon Prime and whatever is astronomical.
So you have all those boxes piling up on your front porch. It's exciting to see those when you order them and they come in, but you don't want to leave them there for any amount of time.
You don't want to leave them there, and at this time of year, Lori, porch pirate crimes increased 20%.
Wow.
Yeah,
all right.
it's a significant,
dangling a carrot out there, huh?
Dangling a carrot. And you need to realize that can be prosecuted a number of ways. Mail theft, because it's typically a parcel or package that's been dropped off. Also, by just plain old theft. And as we know, over $1,000 under Tennessee law is a felony, and it goes up and up and up.
Okay, 20%, that's pretty significant, an increase. And we see people running up. That one guy had a disguise, and that's the whole thing here. More and more people have Ring cameras. They have security. Cameras are everywhere. You got to think, man, is that desperate, or they just don't care, or they think, I'm not going to get caught?
Well, let me tell you what's interesting in looking at this from the courtroom out. Over the last 5 to 10 years, phones have dramatically changed the way we prosecute, identify, and try cases with smartphones. Sure. Because, like in the Chavin case, George Floyd, everything begins and ends with someone holding their phone up, capturing a video, etc. Now, as Amazon Prime and all this online shopping has developed, the Ring camera is something that we see in courtrooms day in and day out. So if you're a porch pirate, beware, because it's kind of like you're on candid camera.
Someone's always watching.
And people ask me, is it admissible? Can you do it?
Yeah, can you use that? That's a really good question.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Judges kind of view them as being self-authenticating. If somebody says, that's my house, that's my camera. It's really interesting because there's less of a foundation requirement for a Ring camera as there is from a body cam from a police officer or a dash cam from a police cruiser. So they've just kind of emerged as a really important evidentiary component as we kind of talk about porch pirates. But basically it's just a, crime is a constant. It's been here since time immemorial. And, as technology changes, modes of delivery change, thefts change.
True. And, during the holidays, let's move on from porch pirates, but, we know how to protect ourselves. We just want to remind you that the numbers are up, and just to be aware as we head on into Christmas. But let's talk about other scams going on. We've got charity scams. Giving is way up, as we know, in December, and so are the scammers.
So are the scammers.
Yeah.
And, there's an easy way to vet or detect whether somebody is calling you for a cause that touches your heart, like St. Jude's or Society Against Cruelty to Animals, or, there's a lot of charities under the umbrella of cancer prevention, detection. But ask this simple question. Tell me, are you registered with the Tennessee Secretary of State so I can get a notice, a form, a receipt, and get a tax deduction?
That's a very good question.
It's
Did you guys
all you
know
do,
that?
and let's say it again. Ask the charity, whether they're dangling a bell in front of Kroger's, whether they're online, calling you on your phone. Ask if you can have verification that they are registered with the Secretary of State so you can write the donation off. And if it is not a legitimate charity, you will hear click.
Yes,
because they
very
run.
quickly.
It's like a steak with a vampire or whatever.
Or if you tell them you've reached a newsroom.
You've reached the
That's a
newsroom.
good one.
So, and it's easy, but ask them, go, okay, is it tax deductible? If so, give me your tax ID number. And you know what, with all the, you can call the FBI, the police, all that stuff, but if you ask that simple question and they can't provide that information, then
Don't
do
do it.
not participate. But it really, and holidays is a season that when you talk about Christmas crimes, it's really touching and really kind of makes your blood boil because the victims that we see more often are those with the biggest hearts.
Yes.
The people trying to, your grandmother, your aunt,
Giving their
your uncle,
last dollar.
giving their last dollar
Yeah.
to help somebody out. But look, be smart. Be smarter than the scammers, and know that Tennessee, every violation, if you are an organization and you're not registered, you're not being accurate in your solicitations, it's a $5,000 fine per episode,
offense?
per event.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So, but don't be afraid to call the Secretary of State. Don't be afraid to call the Sheriff's Department because they take this serious.
And just check them out. Okay, what do you do? Because I know I've been getting some of these calls, and of course I just hang up. But
That was me.
Oh, was that you? Okay, good to know. But seriously, I've gotten calls from, hey, we're with the Fraternal Order of Police. This is a recorded call. It's a recorded message. It's not a real, you're not talking to anybody, and they're still asking for your money. Who's to say that's legit or not? But that's just kind of an odd way to
It is.
ask if you can't discuss things with a real person.
Right, and Tennessee has some very consumer-friendly laws that punish people that are doing things, preying on people, virtually preying on people with direct solicitation. And in 2006, the legislature enacted the anti-phishing statute, and it's not phishing with an F, it's P-H-I-S-I-G. And those are the people that pretend to be somebody else. And just for illustration purposes, East Tennessee tends to be a magnet for these two type of phishing crimes. And time after time, we see elderly people take the bait. The first is they will call and say that you missed your summons for jury duty. We're going to arrest you unless you send $2,500, $1,500 to this P.O. box. I've actually had people so brazen. There was someone out of Greenville who wanted people to meet them and give them the check and promise not to arrest them. I had a doctor one time about to fly home from Dallas because he didn't want to be, quote, arrested.
I remember that case.
And,
they can sound so legit.
Oh, they sound so convincing.
Yeah.
The other thing that is heart-wrenching, and I've known people personally where someone gets just a touch of personal identifiers. And that's why there are so many strong protections about people stealing your personal information. And it's just not your SSN and your credit card number. It's personal knowledge about your family because
I'm your grandson, I'm in jail.
I'm your grandson, I'm in jail in Decatur, Alabama. Please wire money to this number to the bondsman, or he's been kidnapped. And I mean, time after time, it's the people with the big hearts that care the most, they get hit the hardest.
Any question, call the authorities.
And once they catch these people, these laws have teeth, and law enforcement loves to catch a Christmas criminal. Nothing gives them more pleasure than what rounding up a Grinch, catching him in the act. But everybody, please be careful and be mindful. But ask the simple question, and think about this: if it's your grandson or nephew in jail or whatever, you're not going to get a call from a stranger with a number you can't call back. If it's a charity and they refuse to give you their tax ID number so you can write it off, they're bogus, they're not legitimate. But just
such a good question to ask.
Don't lead with your heart this holiday season. It sounds counterintuitive.
I know.
Be smart, be skeptical, because you don't want to be the victim of a Christmas crime.
That's true. We don't want you to be a victim. So, Merry Christmas. We'll talk more about this at 5:30, okay?
I look forward to it.
All right. Thanks for being with us.